Right, we will begin. Welcome everyone to the Inclusive Insurance Training Program for Sub-Saharan African Supervisors. Thank you for joining us today for the onboarding session. Today's session will be led by myself, Pascal Lam, advisor at the A2I, Patricia Vargas, Program Director at the Toronto Centre, and also my colleague Rochelle Jung from the A2I. Over the next hour, we'll start with a brief introduction to the A2I, the IIS, and the Toronto Centre. We are the three partners responsible for delivering this training programme. However, the main focus of this onboarding is to give you an overview of the training programme, give you an introduction to the Connect A2I platform, which all of you will be using for your online modules. And finally, we will end the hour with a Q&A session and any assistance you might need with Connect A2I. So to start off with, I'll begin with an introduction to the Access to Insurance Initiative. The A2I is a unique global partnership founded in 2009. Unique in the sense that we were established in response to requests from a range of policymakers, regulators and supervisors for learning and advice on access to insurance. We are essentially a partnership of insurance supervisors, a partnership between the International Association of Insurance Supervisors, the IIS, and the development community, namely BMZ, CGAP, Finmark Trust, ILO, and the UNCDF. For those of you who might not be too familiar with the IIS, it is a membership organisation of insurance supervisors and regulators. It is a global standard-setting body responsible for developing and implementing principles and standards for the insurance sector. The IIS's mission is to promote effective and globally consistent supervision of the insurance industry with the aim of maintaining fair, safe and stable insurance markets for the benefit and protection of policyholders and financial stability. The A2I's mission, therefore, as the implementation partner of the IIS, is to strengthen the capacity and understanding of insurance supervisors to facilitate and promote inclusive and responsible insurance. The IIS membership consists of 190 insurance supervisors from 152 jurisdictions, out of which more than half are emerging and developing economies. Financial inclusion is therefore a core priority of the IIS and its members. By leveraging the relationship with the IIS and its membership, at the A2I, we have been able to identify areas where support is needed to build the capacity of insurance supervisors and regulators to implement solutions. And one of the many tools that we use is actually this training program itself. We do have activities that are also complementary and also separate to this training. This includes A2I publications. This is a series of publications focused on building expertise and knowledge on topical issues for insurance supervisors. As well as this training, as well as the inclusive insurance training, we also offer capacity building on leveraging actuarial skills. And some of you will have recently participated in our recent training on this, so you're very welcome. We also offer scholarships for partner trainings, such as the ILO training on insurance for development and the Women's World Banking Leadership Programme. We also offer a series of public and supervisory webinars focused on topical issues for insurance supervisors. Our next one is actually taking place on the 30th of September on the health protection gap. And finally, on the A2I web pages, you have access to dedicated web pages and knowledge hub on inclusive insurance. This includes the following toolkits: an inclusive insurance regulation map, an interactive searchable directory of key performance indicators for insurance supervisors, a self-assessment tool designed to help supervisors assess their implementation of the insurance core principles, and finally a COVID-19 global tracker. To access all this information and to get regular updates, please feel free to subscribe to the A2I mailing list. Those who subscribe get access to news on financial inclusion, invitation to events, and information regarding our capacity building exercises, and also IIS and A2I webinars. The A2I website also serves as a fully searchable knowledge hub where information is provided in English, Spanish, and French. So if you would like to stay informed, I really recommend that you subscribe to our mailing list. It will only take a minute to do so. I'll include all this information in our chat box, but in the meantime, I will now hand over to Patricia Vargas from the Toronto Centre.
Thank you, Pascal, and welcome everybody to the program. Toronto Centre and A2AA have a long-term relationship as we complement each other. Toronto Centre provides capacity building programs in financial stability and inclusion for financial supervisors in emerging markets. Our vision, it's a world where financial systems are stable and accessible to all. That's why we are here today with you. And our mission is to provide high quality capacity building programs for financial supervisors and regulators. Next one, please. So what's the core on how Toronto Centre responds in terms of capacity? The next one, please. Okay. Next one. Okay. The core of our programs are based on leadership and governance. So we build our programs in terms of financial stability and also in terms of financial inclusion. Next one, please. So in this two broad themes, we have a lot of specific programs. For example, in terms of financial stability, we have programs for risk-based supervision, macroprudential surveillance, deposit insurance, and others. And in financial inclusion, we have a lot of programs related to inclusive banking and insurance supervision. This is why we insist that why we are here today. We also have programs in terms of consumer protection and digital supervision. But at the same time, the next one, please, we have all this program built considering the emerging priorities and risks, especially those related to climate risk, gender equality, and SDGs, those are some topics that we will be addressing during this program and that are quite relevant nowadays. And finally, the next one. So TC approach is to be an agent of change in terms of management, technological knowledge, and also in terms of leadership. We will be, as we will see later during this presentation, we will be working in the action plan methodology. This is an important leadership skill that Toronto Centre represents. So also I would like to invite you to visit our website. We have a resource center with a lot of information, useful information for supervisors and regulators in terms of research, notes for specific themes, podcasts, webinars. So I would invite you to use these useful tools. So that's back to you, Pascal. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. And I would reiterate this argument to really utilise some of the Toronto Centre and A2I resources because they very much complement the training that you're about to receive as well. We'll now begin with a programme overview. So the core curriculum of this training programme is based on the IIS application paper, Regulation and Supervision Supporting Inclusive Insurance Markets. A link of the paper will go into the chat box, but there are 3 overarching objectives to this programme. Firstly, to understand the importance of financial inclusion in your market, but also to recognise the supervisory principles and tools that foster the development of inclusive insurance in your market. In your insurance market. And within that, this training is focusing on 2 core areas in particular and 2 core themes, and that's integrating climate related risks and learning about innovation and new technologies. But lastly, also, this training program is an opportunity to apply the Toronto Centre action planning methodology for dealing with challenges in your workplace. Patricia will give you an introduction to this later on in the session. There are 3 stages to this training. Stage 1 is the self-paced learning. These are the online modules and you can access them through Connect A2I. As I mentioned earlier, my colleague Rochelle Jung will give you an overview of how to use this platform at the last part of this session. You will also get access to these modules as of today. I know a few of you have tried to access them earlier, but you will now get access to them now. The second stage, these are the live training sessions where you will be joined by your peers, and this will take place from 9 AM to 1 PM CAT every day from the 4th to the 12th of October. Stage 3 is the country action plans that you will develop and present at the end of the training. You should be prepared to set aside 47 hours to complete this training. This includes the live training sessions, and actually the live training sessions form the bulk of this time. But also during your own time, we have estimated 13 hours for the 10 online modules and 6 hours for the action planning. At the end of this training, you will be issued a certificate, but this will be on the basis of completion of the 10 modules being completed, full participation in the live training sessions, and action plans being submitted and presented. Please complete all 10 modules on connect.a2i. Modules 1 to 8 are linked to the live session program, and you will be expected to have completed those modules ahead of the live sessions. So a lot of the content in modules 1 to 8, we will consider that you're aware of the issues because they will have been covered in the modules themselves at the beginning. So we really do recommend that you try and do these modules ahead of the live training sessions. The live training sessions, as I mentioned earlier, will take place from the 4th to the 12th of October, from 9 AM to 1 PM Central African time every day. You'll be joined by program leaders and experts. These sessions will be a combination of presentations, group discussion, and breakout rooms. Every day represents a different theme. The first day will be an introduction to inclusive insurance, but the remaining days there will be 5 key themes. So the role of the supervisor in regards to inclusive insurance, climate change, innovation and technology, consumer protection, and finally the market environment. The final day will be focused and dedicated to the presentation of your action plans, where you'll receive feedback from the program leaders. These sessions are really an opportunity. The live sessions are really an opportunity for you to ask questions, engage and learn from your peers as well as the program leaders and experts. But there is a waiting list for this training. It is in high demand. And it is for this reason that we do outline our expectations on you as the participant. These are quite simple and all for your own benefit as well. So firstly, please find a quiet space to do the training. If you are in an open plan office where colleagues are nearby, you will not be able to fully engage. You will be distracted, and due to background noise, it might be more challenging for you to engage with the other program leaders and the participants. Also, when you sign into the training on MS Teams, I'm actually pleased to see that most of you have done this, all of you have done this actually today, but please do sign in with your names. Some people do sign in with numbers. Please try not to do this. It's easier for us to identify who you are. And if we can't properly identify you, there is a risk that we will just remove you from the training. As I mentioned earlier, we encourage discussion and engagement during this training. Therefore, we expect all the participants to engage in the live sessions and the breakout rooms as well. You will have set breakout rooms and you will be expected to give feedback on behalf of your group. This will rotate between the members of the breakout groups. For this reason, we also ask you to be prepared to unmute and turn on your camera. If for one reason or another you cannot unmute in particular, then please let us know ahead of the training. But we will have a chat box available. And if we cannot find an alternative solution, then you will be able to participate through this chat box. Finally, at the end of each day and at the end of each module, you will be asked for your feedback. This feedback will help us improve for future trainings and also during this one as well. So we really encourage you to give as much feedback as you can. I'll now hand over to Patricia Vargas, who'll give you a bit more detailed information on the country planning.
Thank you, Pascal. We will talk in detail about what is the action planning and what is in the action planning for you and what it's important for us to share with you this tool. The action planning is a valuable leadership skill which facilitates continuous improvement in your agency and at the same time will help you to deal with the specific problems at your agency. So far we are trying to, the first step will be to define the issue. This would be your problem statement. The second step would be to define the objective. And finally, you will be working on developing a plan to address the issue and achieve your objective. Action plan is a key component for TC program. I think that it's something very common. We all informally or even intuitive plan every single day, but having a specific methodology can help us to improve the chances for achieving our goals and makes our activities more efficient. That's why we want to share with you this action planning methodology, Toronto Central Action Planning Methodology. So next slide. Now I will show you how are we going to work and how we are going to organize the work during the program. The first step is the advanced preparation. I will go in deeper soon with this part. The second part is to hands-on work. This means all the work that will be developing during the program with the program leaders, assisting you in the development of your action planning. And the final step is the follow-up. This is a post-program follow-up. Next one, please. So in the advanced planning preparation, we sent you about last week, I think so, some material, a pre-reading material. This pre-reading material has the action planning guide. I will encourage you to read this action planning guide, but this will facilitate the work during the program. Also, it includes 2 templates. We will be working with 2 templates. The first template is the action plan advanced preparation form that we will show you in the next slides. But the other is the action plan summary. This is the base, the document we will be working during the week, developing the action plan with the assistance of the program leaders. So in advance, what we want you to do from now on, to start thinking in the purpose of your action plan. This is something to think in some problem that is relevant for you and that also is relevant for your agency and why it's relevant. This is what we want you to, please, next slide. This is the template that we will asking you to fulfill, just to think about an issue, a situation, a problem that, as I mentioned, is relevant for you, for your agency. We will encourage you to present a country action plan. You are in some of the participants and from the same country and the same agency, so it would be recommendable to have a common and present a single action plan. But at the same time, if you are a participant from a country and you are the only one, you can present an individual action plan. This is open to you. And just to give you some ideas, only to prompt your thinking, those are not mandatory action plans problems to take into account. Here are some examples. For example, common issues that we have seen in past programs. One of them is a supervised entity is experiencing significant difficulties. Other one, the governance practice of supervised entities are weak or financial statement is not reliable. It's a lot, the variety of problems that our agencies face are broad but also are common. So that's also important that we share with each other because we can learn from the experience of other countries. And finally, something that I would like to mention is that the problem could be as simple as, for example, I don't know, an issue of communication between 2 departments, and as complex as implementing a new risk supervision framework or implementing developing a new regulation. The methodology is very flexible and can be used for simple tasks and for very, very complex situations and problems. So next one, please. Now, this is the part that we will be asking you to work in advance, to review the action plan guide, to think in terms of, to start thinking in what kind of problem would be important to address for my agency. If you have some colleagues from your country, maybe you, during these days prior to the program, you can contact them and start thinking in some country action plan. During the first day, we will have a session for you to coordinate and communicate with your colleagues. So now, once the program starts, we will be developing the action plan using the action plan summary template that we already shared with you. So please, next one. We will be working during the different sessions. As I told you, in session 1, we will try to work in breakout rooms to start a coordination for those who will be presenting a country action plan. In session 5, I will be presenting the methodology. This is a theoretical part of how the action plan works and how you can use the action planning methodology. During sessions 8, 14, and 16, we'll be working with you in breakout rooms with the program leaders, helping you and advising you on the implementation of this action plan. On session 11, I will be presenting another important tool that complements the action plan methodology, that is the stakeholder effective communication, how to communicate with your key stakeholders. This is a very important component from the action planning methodology. And during the final session, as Pascal mentioned it, you will be presenting your action plan summaries to your colleague, to the other participants, and also with the advice and guidance from the program leaders, who will be giving you valuable feedback for you to go to your agency at the end of the program and implement these action plans. Next one, please. So the action plan summary that I mentioned to you has 3 main components. One of them is the statement of the precise statement of the problem. It sounds very simple, but it's one of the most challenging parts of the action plannings according to our experience in past programs. So to precisely define the statement of the problem, it's a huge challenge, but would be the starting point for a successful action planning. The second part would be to define the goal. Please, next one. We will give you assistance in how to define a goal that accomplished with certain criteria. This criteria, we call this criteria SMART. That means that a goal has to be specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. We will be reviewing this in detail during the program. The next step will be to work on your detailed action plan with specific steps, with allocating the specific resources and responsibilities. And the fourth and the final step would be to develop the stakeholder communication strategy. We will be sharing with you a methodology, the 4-box methodology, to effectively communicate and engage your stakeholders. And finally, as I mentioned to you, during the last session, you will be presenting your action plans. You will have about 10 minutes to present your action plans to your colleagues and to the program leaders, and you will have the opportunity to receive feedback. This action plan is very important for you to have the participation certificate, as Pascal mentioned it. Also, before finishing this part, I would like to encourage you to actively participate during all sessions. The success of this program depends on one side from the quality of the program leaders that will be working with you. That I can guarantee that these are professionals with a very high profile, but also the success of the program will depend on your participation during the live sessions, your participation working with the action plan. So this is an opportunity for you to learn, not just learn from the program leaders, but learn also from each other. And I think that this is a milestone for the success of the program, especially during the breakout rooms, to share your knowledge, to share your experiences with your colleagues and with other participants. So next one, please. And finally, at the end of the program, if Toronto Centre and A2AA will reinforce the application of your action planning, you can request further advice, and we can follow up your action plans. This is upon your request if you want to have the support from A2 and Toronto Centre. So that's all from the side of our action plans. Thank you.
Thanks, Patricia. And if there are any questions in the meantime that have come to your mind over the action planning or the program overview, and we do have a session, as I mentioned earlier, at the end, but I really encourage you to include them in the chat box if you'd like to just write them out and share them with your other participants as well. So while Patricia will be leading the action plan sessions, the other sessions will be led by Andrea Camargo. So Andrea is the A2I's technical expert and director of Inspiring. She has over 13 years of experience in inclusive insurance. You'll also be joined by Michael Kofi Andau, who is currently Deputy Commissioner of Insurance at the National Insurance Commission in Ghana. But he's also been involved in a number of projects to develop the insurance market and improve access to insurance in Ghana, as well as having worked in industry. Patricia as well. Patricia, you've met, but Patricia, as well as being Program Director at Tonto Center, she is also a former Supervision Director at the Insurance Superintendencia in Costa Rica, Shugezi. So you have a wealth of experience from former supervisors and current supervisors as well. And lastly, you'll also be joined by Janice Angrove. She is the actuary and technical expert at the A2I. She's a qualified actuary working as a lecturer in actuarial science and a consultant in the areas of inclusive insurance and capacity building for insurance supervisors in Africa. We'll also be joined by external experts who will join us on the first day. We'll be joined by industry, so RGA South Africa, who will do an overview of inclusive insurance in the region. And on the third day, we will also have a case study by the Bank of England on how they integrate climate-related risks into their regulatory framework. This is in collaboration with the Sustainable Insurance Forum. As well as the program leaders and the contributors, throughout this training, you will be supported by myself and my colleague, Rochelle Jung, as well, who you will meet shortly. My colleague, Dunia Latinovic, will also join us during some of the live sessions. And generally, if you have any questions regarding Connect or the training, then please feel free to email us. Our details are included on this slide. But also regarding A2I Connect, please contact the official email address, which is connect@a2i.org. We'll include these contact details in the chat box as well. But all of you should have received an email from myself or from connect@a2i.org as well. And finally, there are 35 participants from over 17 countries. 16 of those countries are from sub-Saharan Africa. We will have an introduction between the participants and the program leaders on the first day of the live training sessions. So you will be able to meet one another, but I also encourage you to introduce yourselves via connect.a2i. My colleague, Rochelle Jung, who I will now hand over, and who will now give you an overview of the platform, will explain how to do this, amongst many other things. Over to you, Rochelle.
Thank you, Pascal. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Rochelle Jung, and I've been working for the A2I for about 2 years. And we're really excited to have you all join us for this training. And you are the second group who will be taking the inclusive insurance training on our Connect A2I platform. So as Pascal said, we're always happy to hear feedback or suggestions as you go through this experience. Now, I believe all of you have an account by now, so I'm just going to take you through the platform and hopefully clear anything up. This is what it looks like when you first log in. You have an overview of your current trainings, and you have on the dashboard new forum topics or active forum topics. This homepage you can explore on your own, but to access the training, you can, once you're enrolled, you can access it here or through the catalog. Now, we will manually enroll everyone after this onboarding, but you'll navigate to the inclusive insurance training for sub-Saharan African supervisors, and here you'll be able to access everything. So once you arrive at the training, you see 3 different tabs. One is for training content, one is for the documents library, and one is for the forum. Now you will find a lot of important documents here in the documents library. Here we'll upload material on action planning, on case studies that you'll need during the live sessions. You can access the participants list. We'll upload PDFs of the slides after the live sessions, the overview of the training, as well as video recordings of live sessions. So we'll sometimes refer you to the documents library, and you'll have to access it through this second tab. As well, we have a tab for the forum, and we're really excited because we can have you engage on a lot of different areas here. We have general discussion topics for each module. If you have any questions after completing that module, you can put them here and the trainers will get back to you, or they may even be able to integrate your question or your feedback into their live session if you've completed the module before the live session. We also have some specific forums for specific questions, sort of like little homework or discussion questions that the trainers have put into the modules to get you thinking or sharing information with your peers along the way. And we also have an introduction form. We'd really love if everyone can introduce themselves and their jurisdiction and what they would like to learn from the training today in the forum. And we'll share this link directly to the forum after the onboarding. In addition, when there's a forum where you have to post an answer to a specific question, we will also include a direct link in the module slides as you go through the self-paced module, but you can always access the entire forum list here through this third tab. So again, forum is here, documents library, and training content. The training content is a list of all of the modules that you can go through in order. We also have 2 optional modules as a guide to the training and a guide to the action plans, but the core modules start here and they're all numbered. And once you are going through the training and you want to pick up where you last left off, you can also click here on the green button to continue training. And that way you can just start off at the last place that you've left off your progress. But you can always access individual modules from this list. And if you want to review materials or go back to something, now I'll show you what it actually looks like when you're in a module. Let's open the first one as an example. So when you're doing the course modules, it looks like this, and you can also jump between other modules on the side list. We always recommend that you view the modules in full screen. That means clicking on these arrows in the bottom right corner to enter full screen. You can also exit full screen the same way, but you'll have a much better experience doing that at full screen. At the bottom of the slides are these little arrows for navigation to go back and forth through the modules. In the corner, we also have a list of key slides. You can also navigate through this list to jump around in the module. Just click on this bottom corner to open it. We've also tried to provide our best estimate of how long the module will take so that you can plan your time accordingly. So we estimate this first module will take you about 40 minutes. And we have several interactive elements to the modules. So we have videos, and there are some advantages of these videos. So you can turn on subtitles in English, which have been proofread by us for accuracy. So you have to click on CC to turn on the subtitles in English. If you wish to turn on the subtitles in another language, there is the ability to choose from a very long list of languages that Google provides. So you may be able to listen to this in your native language. Just click on Settings, click on Subtitles/CC, click on Auto Translate, and then you can select your language. And we've provided these instructions as well on one of the first slides of every module. And please try to avoid clicking on these video previews because it will take you out of the out of Connect, out of the module, so just try to avoid clicking on these video previews as you're watching any videos. You can also change the playback speed if you want to go a bit slower or a bit faster. You have that option here also under settings. And then another element we have are multiple choice questions. So in this case, you have the instructions to only select one answer. So you have to click on the answer, click on the blue check button, and then you can see if you got it right, or you can try again. And this is how your module progress is tracked as you go through the module, complete these activities, and then finish the module. That's how your progress is saved. But you don't have to get exactly 100% score. We're just looking to see that you completed the modules. We're looking to see that you've spent an appropriate amount of time on the modules. So you don't have to worry too much about getting 100%, but focus on getting through the material. We also have several questions that come in the form of a poll. So there's no right or wrong answer. You can select multiple answers. And really, you just get the point by answering the question. And you have to click on check to save your answers. And when it is a poll, we've tried to note it and give the instructions for answering it. And when you have a forum link, for example, at the end of every module, we've provided a forum link to general discussion questions for the module. If you click on that link, it will open in a new tab. So you can post your questions and then go back to the previous tab to access the module. Then you can also open full screen again. And we've also included a quick evaluation at the end of the module just to get your feedback on it. So you can answer the questions, click on check to save your answers. And to save your progress, it is very important to exit full screen mode again and then click on next. That saves your progress in this module. And it will also show you a summary of your answers and the score you've gotten in that module. And you can always come back and do it again or check your answers. So we hope that you find it easy to navigate the platform. You can always reach out to us with any questions. You can check your progress as well by clicking on the icon and looking at your user profile. You can see if you've earned the badges for completing the modules. You can see how far you've gotten in the training. It can give you a percentage. You can also look at achievements to see a similar summary of how far you've gone and how many modules you've completed. But yes, just Pascal and I will be supporting you here with Connect. Please reach out if there are any questions. The modules are due at the end of October, but if you can complete them sooner, it will really help you in the live sessions. And please get started today. Introduce yourself in the introductory forum. We'll send a link around later so that everyone has a link to the forum. And hopefully no one has trouble accessing Connect. I'm glad to see everyone has their accounts already. So with that, I end the presentation. And Pascal, is it already time for questions or do we to take questions if there are any on the action plans or the Connect platform?
Thank you. So now we have some time left over for any questions that there could be. I see Mariam. Hi. You got a question? So now is an opportunity. If you have any questions concerning the program overview, the live sessions, action planning, or A2I Connect, the floor is now yours. And we invite you to really ask those questions as well.
There is a question in the chat, and I think that we already answered this question for Sabuana. And this is something that we already mentioned, that if you want, you can coordinate with your colleagues and present one single action plan for your agency or country. It's something that we encourage you to do, to coordinate between your colleagues and present one single action plan. So this is a very, very good option. But also, if you want to present an individual action plan, if you are the only participant from your country or your agency, we also encourage you to present your action plan and presenting some problem that is relevant for you and for your agency. This is something that I would like to highlight.
Okay, thank you. Well noted.
Safwana, the participants list is available on the Connect A2I, but we'll also circulate it at the end of this call. And you'll be able to see who is joining from your who from your peers is also joining the training.
All right, thank you very much.
Are there any other questions? Mariam, I think you were trying to unmute at one point. I'll just read out, we've just had one question from the chat from Murad. I believe the development and implementation of an action plan requires the implication of different actors, not only the regulatory authority.
Actually, this is something that's very important to address. That's why we are presenting the action plan methodology, but at the same time, we will be presenting a very valuable tool that is stakeholder management and effective communication. This will help you to address all these issues with other participants and other actors that are not necessarily at the regulatory authority or the supervisory authority. So this is something very important, Morad, that we'll be addressing with this effective communication and persuasion tool with the stakeholders.
We've had an additional question come in from Edwin. Are there timelines in relation to the submission of the advanced action plan?
Actually, we will encourage you to start thinking in terms of the problem statement, the general problem statement, as I mentioned it before. You have this pre-advanced action plan form that only have what would be the problem, why it's relevant for you, what is relevant from your agency, and some specific time frame to implement this action plan. This is the only thing that we are asking you to develop, to present prior to the program, but it's not mandatory. The important thing is that during the first session, you will have something in mind. And especially if you are going to present a country action plan, it's important that you try before the program to get in contact with your colleagues and coordinate something that is important for all of you and for your agency. So that's what we are asking you. Then during the week, we will be working on the action plan summary template that will be the base for the work that we will be developing during the week.
And during these sessions, as Patricia just mentioned, you will be put into your country groups. For those of you that don't have peers on it, we'll put you into groups with similar action plans, so that you can really discuss the development of your action plan as well.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I would like to add something related to Edwin's question. In terms of timelines, in this case, we are going to be flexible. Usually, we ask to have the advanced action plan preparation at least 1 week before the program, because it allows the program leaders and the team to give you better and accurate feedback. But we understand that you will be working on the system, and you will having a lot of other tasks to do. So our intention and what we encourage you is to thinking in advance about the problem. If you can send the advanced preparation form earlier, great. It will be better for us because, as I mentioned, it will allow us to give you better feedback. But given the case, we can wait for the starting of the program.
We've had an additional question, Patricia, on the action plan. What is the purpose of developing an action plan?
Actually, the purpose of presenting this tool is to helping you to develop, as I mentioned before, this is an important leadership skill which will facilitate continuous improvement in your agency. Any agency face problems, we already know. We have problems every single day. So the action planning methodology, our idea is to present the tool and that you can take advantage of this tool to solve a specific situation or problem in your agency, having at the same time the support, the feedback, and the advice from program leaders who are experts in the field. And that's why we also encourage you to present action plans to address the problems or situations related to inclusive insurance that are relevant for this program. And I'm sure every single agency is facing some problems with insurance inclusive, with supervision. So that's why this is an opportunity for you to learn about this tool and to apply this tool with the advisory of the program leaders. That's the intention of developing an action plan. Anything else?
Also, we've just had one information from Lloyd, Lloyd, who sends his apologies because he only joined the meeting halfway through. Please help with more information about the action plan and what is required. So actually, Lloyd, we did send an email last week, but we can follow this up again with some background reading on the action planning. But also we will make the recording of this session available to participants so that you can rewatch, in particular, Patricia's session on the action planning that she did earlier.
Actually, I would like to add that in this pre-reading material, you have the action planning guide. This is a comprehensive document that explains all the methodology step by step. This is something that will be addressed during the presentation of the methodology, but if in advance you can read the action planning guide, would be great. Also, you have the link to the short video. It's about 10 minutes video that explained in a very understandable way what is the action planning methodology. And finally, you have in these pre-readings the two templates that I already mentioned, the action plan advanced preparation form and the action plan summary, that is the template that we will be using during the program. Anything else?
Are there any further questions? No questions have come in through the chat. If anybody wants to unmute themselves and ask a question, please do go ahead.
And also, if you have any other questions in the coming days, please feel free to send us an email. Rachel can forward the email to me, or you can have my email address, and I will try to help you addressing your doubts or your questions in terms of the action planning.
Also, at this time, if you want to try accessing Connect A2I and connecting the modules, now would be a good time to try accessing this with your login details. We can be on the line for another 10 minutes. So if people want to try doing that now, we can stay on the line in case there are any problems or issues. Then we're happy to stay on the line and answer those queries. Otherwise, if there are no further questions, then we are really looking forward to seeing you on the first day of the live training sessions on the 4th of October. And as Patricia mentioned, if you have any questions regarding the action planning or any questions regarding the program overview, please do not hesitate to contact us. We are here to help you, and we're here to make this as smooth a process and as smooth a training as possible. Also, we want you to engage and we want you to ask questions and engage with us. both the support staff, but also the program leaders generally as well. As I mentioned earlier, an email will go out today where we will provide you with further information regarding the action planning and also a link to this recording as well, for those of you who want to. And my colleague Rochelle has just posted in the chat, please do introduce yourself on the welcome forum. The program leaders will be introducing themselves as well. And this is just an opportunity for us to get to know you before the training begins.
I'm in the process of adding everyone to the course, so almost everyone should have access now, and if not, you should have it within a minute or two.
Thanks, Rochelle. And thanks again to all of you for joining us today. As I mentioned earlier, we'll stay on the line for another 10 minutes in case you have questions concerning the A2I Connect A2I. So we really encourage you to try and log in now and look at the modules, and any problems or questions will be on the line to help you out and sort out.